Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about a few things that normally the AAT student ask for the queries. So we're going to look at a few area where after the AAT, what you can do. So many questions I have received from students, and they're asking like, after AAT, what is the option I have? So for example, once I qualified with the AAT, either level 2, level 3, or level 4. So after, for example, I completed my AAT level 4, what is the other option I have to move to my further studies? There are few opportunities or few options you have. We're going to talk about a little bit on every single areas after AAT you can do. First, let's talk about the ACCA. If you're thinking, I want to start my ACCA, I want to be a certified accountant. In this case, you can start your ACCA after your AAT. Now, you really don't have to be qualified fully AAT if you want to move to ACCA. If you just finish a few papers from the level 4, you can still get some exemption. Now, with the ACCA, they will give you 3 exemption. Normally, the ACCA have 3 levels, and the first levels have 3 paper, and you really don't have to do any paper, and you don't have to pay any exemption fee. So it will be completely exempted for the first level, and you can start from the second level if you are AAT fully qualified. If you're not fully qualified, but at least you have done the management paper and the financial statement for the limited companies and the internal control system, then you will still get 2 exemption from the ACCA. So you need to do 1 paper from the level 1, and you can start from the level 2. So let's quickly have a look at our AAT to ACCA. So it says, if you have passed AAT level 4, you will get exemption from the 3 paper under the applied knowledge and start at applied skill, and will pay no exemption fee. That means if you start your ACCA after AAT, you don't have to do the first level on ACCA. You can start from the level 2. That's quite interesting, because normally if you come from different awarding body, the ACCA asks for the exemption fee, but they said you don't have to pay the exemption fee for the AAT student. Now, the next thing is like, who will choose ACCA after the AAT? Now, that could be a different reason you want to be a certified accountant. For example, if you have a plan to work in future in the practice, or if you want to open your own practice, if you like to open your own accountancy firm, then you can consider the ACCA, because once you completed your ACCA, you can get the membership, and also eventually you can get the practicing license from the ACCA, and you can open your own accountancy practice. You can be a certified chartered accountant, and you can be a auditor as well if you want. So this can be another way. Also, for example, if you like to work in an industry, for example, if you said, I don't want to work in a practice, or I don't want to open my firm, but I want to work for a different company as a financial accountant or as a management accountant, the ACCA will also help you to get this sort of job, or reach your goal, or fulfill your target through the financial accounting and the management accounting. Or if you like to be a tax advisor, if you like to be an auditor, all possible through the ACCA. So this is one of the good pathway or the route for the AAT student for the further career. Now, if you are already studying the AAT, there is a lot of organization. They offer different sort of support for your ACCA studies. I know a lot of students, they are getting support from the company they work. So normally if you apply for the job, they mention like they'll give you the job support. That means they will give you the time to study, to go to the college, or taking the online tuition, they will pay for your subscription or registration or exam fees. So they will pay you everything. So that could be your next move after the AAT, if you like ACCA. The next one, we're going to talk about the ICAEW, or sometimes we call it ACA. That is the local chartered accountant, and this is under the ICAEW. And once you become qualified from the ICAEW and to become the member, we call them ACA. ACA is quite recognized, and we call chartered accountant. Now, chartered accountant for the people who is qualified from the ICAEW, but if you are qualified from the ACCA, we call them certified accountant. So chartered certified. So one is chartered accountant and the ACCA is certified accountant. Now the difference is like a little bit. The main difference here is to do a ACCA, you don't have to find employer. You don't have to find the articleship, or you don't have to be work in a company to do your exam or carry on your study. But if you want to be a chartered accountant under the ICAEW, you definitely have to find an employer first. So you definitely have to find a company who's going to sponsor you, who's going to give you the articleship, who's going to give you the contract, like you are working with them. So that means to be a chartered accountant under the ICAEW, you have to have some experience. So you'll do your exam, you'll study. At the same time, you have to earn or gain the relevant experience. But for the ACCA, you really don't need any of this. You can just like book your exam. You can do the exam the way you do your AAT. So you can buy the book, you study yourself, you book the exam. Where are you based? ACCA have an exam center almost everywhere, and it's international. So even if you're not in the country, so almost 170 countries, they arrange the exam for ACCA. So you can do exam anywhere. So later on, if you thinking you will move to another country, you can do your practice there as well. This is one of the opportunity ACCA give. But on the other hand, the ACA or chartered accountant is quite a recognizable degree here, and some countries have a very good recognition criteria with the ICAEW. For example, if you have ICAEW, you can get the membership from different countries chartered accountant body. For example, from Australia, CPA, from the New Zealand, for example, in Canada. So there is a different sort of agreement the professional body have, the same way ACCA have as well with different countries. So if you have one membership from one body, it's easy to get the membership from another country, from another body. So all you have to apply, and they will recognize your qualification and they will give you their qualification. Only sometimes they can tell you have to do their tax and their law because you are not used to with this tax and law. So if you are thinking about ICAEW, so you have to look at this format. So they said like ICAEW and AAT, they have a fast track deed. So they have kind of agreement where you can choose the fast track route from the AAT to ICAEW. Here, you can get up to 5 exemptions. So you say with the AAT level 4 qualification, you could gain credit for up to 5 modules of the ACA. Now, this one is look like you don't have to do first 5 exam, but you have to be careful one thing. In AAT on level 4, we have a 2 paper optional. So out of 4 paper, we have to pick only 2. Normally, for example, if you take tax, you choose personal tax and the business tax. If you choose the audit or assurance, or you can choose the credit management, so it's up to you. From the optional, you have to do only 2. But with the exemption, if you want to get the exemption, you have to do all the paper. For example, you can see here for our level 3 advanced bookkeeping, level 3 financial accounting, and the statement of limited company gives you the exemption for the accounting that is equivalent to our ICAEW. So we have a 2 AQA 16 exam and AQA 2022. Now, for example, if you look at this one, audit and assurance, so if you don't do the audit with your AAT, you're not going to get the exemption on the ICAEW for the assurance. Now, if you only do tax, for example, the last bit we can see here, we have personal tax, and we have a tax process and the business tax. So tax process coming from the level 3, personal tax and business tax from the level 4. So if we do all these 3, then you will get the exemption for the principle of the taxation with the ICAEW. So that means, for example, if someone completed the AAT level 4, it not necessary he will get 5 exemption on the ICAEW. Why? Because on the AAT, we don't do all the optional paper, we just do only 2. So for that reason, maybe you will get like 4 exemption, not 5. But if you want to do all the exam, you might get up to 5 exemption on your ICAEW paper. So this table tell you everything very clearly. So if you pass this paper, you get exemption. That, for example, if you pass the draft and interpreting financial statement and the applied management, that's 2 core paper of the level 4 AAT, then you don't have to do business technology and the finance on the ICAEW paper. So this table will help you to understand how much exemption you can get, how many papers. So normally you can get up to 5 papers exemption. So ICAEW is a very, very good qualification if you like to be a chartered accountant. And of course, like it is our local chartered accountant for under the England and Wales. And that is a very recognizable everywhere. You can open your own practice. You can be an auditor later on, and you can get the exemption from any other body. Remember one thing, if you have a ACCA membership, you will get the exemption on ICAEW. You have an ICAEW membership, you will get the exemption on ACCA. So having one membership from one professional body will help you to get the exemption from other body. Sometimes you get membership automatically. So if you have, for example, FCCA status from ACCA, you can get a straight away ICAEW membership. You don't have to do any exam. So in future, if you're thinking like, oh, I'm doing the ACCA, but I like to get my ICAEW, you can get it easily after you getting your membership or become FCCA. The next one, we'll talk about the CIMA. This is another area normally a student like to know, like I like to go for CIMA. Some student, they want to focus on the management side. So CIMA mainly focus the cost management papers. So cost management will take you to the top level of the management job. So if you want to be a cost accountant, and if you want to work in the management in the top level, maybe the CIMA could be the right course for you. Now, sometimes some company, they said like, we want a management accountant and we need someone who are CIMA qualified. So CIMA qualified people are very much successful on the management side because they know everything about the costing. So after AAT, if you are thinking you like to start your CIMA, you will still get some exemption on the CIMA. So it says, if you are AAT qualified, if you are completed AAT professional diploma in accounting, that is level 4, you are exempted from the CIMA qualification business accounting and can start with the CIMA professional qualification straight away. So you really don't have to do CIMA certificate in business and accounting. You'll get full exemption this level, and you can start straight away from your professional qualification on CIMA. Before I made one video, AAT, after AAT, the university. So if you like to go to the uni, so you'll get some exemption for the first year. Sometimes some university, they give second year exemption as well. AAT have a collaboration with some university. So if you like to study on that university, for example, if you think I like to get a qualification from the uni, I want to do my final degree from the uni, so you can do that after your AAT. You don't have to do first year, and some university can give you more exemption, so you do just a final year to complete your degree. So there is a lot of way you can enhance your career, or you can make your career in a different route after the AAT, either after AAT level 3 or either after AAT level 4. So whatever route you choose after your AAT, either ACCA or CIMA or ICAEW, that could be entirely up to your future planning or future goal, what you want to do in future. So first you need to make your mind, make your plan, and based on that, you can work on that. So of course, like you do, after you're doing AAT, all the route is open for you, either ACCA, either ICAEW, and either CIMA. But any route you choose, you'll get some exemption, and that will make your study more faster. But my advice will be, if you really want to go ahead further study after the AAT, you need to make your plan first, because if you don't know really what you want to do in future, because after AAT, you should know by this time what is your plan. For example, if you're just thinking, I just want to be an accountant, I just want to practice, I don't want to do so much, so you really don't need any qualification after AAT, because the AAT can offer you the practicing license, and you can actually be an accountant after the AAT. You can open your own firm, you can provide all the services, so you can do all of this thing with the AAT. But if you think like, I want to be a certified accountant, I want to be a chartered accountant, or I want to be a cost management accountant, so you can do your further study. But the best way will be after AAT, get in a good job, get some experience, and get the support from your employer for your further study, because the next qualification will take a little bit more time than your AAT. The way sometimes you do AAT, for example, the exam you can do anytime. Even if you fail, you can do the exam next week or next day. For other professional body will not offer the same thing. For example, ACCA have exam after 3 months. So every 3 months you have to do exam. If you fail, you have to wait 3 months. So it's not going to be that fast, and the syllabus area will be a little bit difficult as well. For example, when you're doing your AAT, you're doing level 4, but when you study ACCA or CIMA or ICAEW, it could be up to level 7. So you should understand it will be a little bit difficult compared to the AAT. So you need to be a little bit careful before you decide what you want to do. So the best way will be get the job after AAT, get in a firm, and after that you can take the support from the company for pay your tuition fee, for the exam fee, and take some long time to finish your course. By the time you finish your next qualification, you will be well experienced, and once you finish the qualification, so you already have the qualification, you have the experience, and then you will have a wonderful career ahead. If you still have any question, feel free to email me. If I can help you, definitely I'll get back to you. Thank you very much, everyone.